Hi, want to make a stitch and angel cake with me? Let's go. So for this one, I'm actually going to use my buttercream image transfer method. And what I like to do is I like to print out a coloring page online. Usually coloring pages have really dark, thick black lines, so it actually makes it easier to trace. And then I just trace over with a piece of parchment paper and a Sharpie marker. And don't worry, the buttercream won't actually be touching the Sharpie marker, because what I do is I flip the paper over and then I trace the image again with buttercream that time, and it will not be touching the marker because it'll be on the other side of the page. So now that I'm done tracing the image, I'm going to put it down on a cookie sheet so that I can transfer it easily into the freezer. And I am just going over the outer lines first. And then as you can see here, I'm doing the whites of the eyes, the little white glistening dots that you usually see on like any kind of cartoon animated eyes. And so with buttercream image transfer, basically what you do is you do the outer layer and inner layer first, and then you do the coloring and anything over the top of all of it, so that when it's flipped over, you do still see the lines. And then everything I'm doing here is actually going to be the bottom layer. It's when it's flipped over, it'll be underneath everything. So that's why it looks kind of strange right now, because I'm going over everything. I just did all the perfect little lines, but that will actually show once the buttercream image is flipped back over onto the cake. So I'm just going over the coloring, and as you can tell, I tried really hard to make this look really cute, and it was really fun to make, and I worked really hard trying to match the colors up. I actually printed out another paper with color. I should have just gone with that to begin with, but anyway, there was a process, and I just really wanted to make sure I got it right. Now this is a half sheet cake here, and it's a 2-layer chocolate cake with chocolate buttercream in the middle, and then I'm just putting my frozen image on, and as you can see, I'm using the warmth of my hands to actually melt it off of the parchment paper as I peel it off slowly. And there's the image. Look how perfect that came out. I was so excited. And I've got a really sad story to tell you about this cake. So as I was getting ready to deliver the cake, I was walking from my garage. I have a refrigerator in my garage, down my driveway to my car, and I stepped on a rock, and I have a weak ankle right now because I was walking so much with the kids on Halloween. An old injury flared up. So my ankle twisted and I fell holding this cake in my hand. It was horrifying. And the only thing that happened to it was Stitch broke away from Angel, and he kind of slid down the cake. And also some of the lettering got a little bit messed up. But that was it. That was all that happened to the cake. I managed to hold it up as I fell. I ripped through the knee of my jeans and kind of like used my knee to slow me down as I was falling down my driveway. And I lost about 2 inches of skin on my knee, but I didn't mess up the cake too much. So that was the story with this cake. Is there was no indents or anything on the frosting of the cake at all. Just little Stitch kind of broke away from the movement of me falling. And luckily I held that cake up as I went down because it wasn't too bad, and the little girl was still very happy to see this cake. And as you can see, I just did a little border, some palm trees, and I made some more little ohana flowers, and this is how the cake turned out. Thank you so much for listening to my little story. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have a fabulous day. Bye-bye.